Hey YouTube, Air of Carthage here. Yeah, I know I've been gone a while. I've actually been on a business trip. Seems like there's a lot of unrest going on my channel. Like we might be facing a public revolt or something, or that the workers riot in Transylvania or whatever. Yeah. Okay. So in any case, I've been on a business trip. Like I said, I tried to upload a video before I left. It failed due to Vegas crashing. So I'm going to be uploading some videos. Take a couple of notes though. These videos are going to be done on PowerDirector 9 instead of Vegas. What does that mean? It means the quality is going to be slightly less. I'm only going to do them in 720 because I can render them quite quickly, and the quality will still be pretty good. It won't be as good as Vegas. And then I can upload them quicker. Also, I have a little netbook. Anything that I can upload, and this isn't a guarantee, I'm going to try and make some extra videos to upload one or two during the week, because I will be gone from Monday to Friday on another business trip, and I will finally be back next Friday afternoon. But I will try to upload what I can before then. I will not be playing any DLC campaign until I get back from that business trip, as I just don't have time. I'm going to upload this video, then I'm going to upload a Hattori Mori co-op with Ares, and then I'll try and upload maybe a couple more online battles, or maybe some kind of different Total War type footage. And then I may try and do you an update video while I'm in California again. I cannot guarantee anything, but that's the plan that I'm going to try to work off of. So let's get started. Hammer out things fast. So, let's go over here and get to work looking at the new DLC units. Go to Army and Navy Management. On the available unit roster, I'm going to go through these quick pros and cons, so try and keep up. One of the new units, Mounted Naginata, I guess I can't say that too fast. One thing you need to know about the new DLC units up front is that they, at least in multiplayer, they're small in numbers as compared to traditional units, low in cost, and typically lesser in stats. Not always the case, but they're always definitely low in numbers. The Naginata unit, if you look at its stats right here, it has 30 men, 10 morale, 12 attack, 7 defense, 12 charge, blah, blah, blah. So it's a little bit better in pretty much everything than a light cav unit, except slightly lesser in number. Obviously, the light cav gets the charge. Mounted Samurai is a mounted bow unit, but if you'll notice, they actually have pretty darn solid melee attack and morale. So although these guys are only 30 in number, they are quite good at getting in and causing a little bit of melee damage amongst soft targets like matchlocks, lone swords, or other cheap sword units. Any unit that doesn't have a bonus versus cavalry. They'll be pretty good at causing some damage, plus they have the bow. But again, they're small in numbers, and all these DLC units come in light or loose formation, and only loose formation. Not really sure why, that's just the way it works. So just bear that in mind. You got a Naginata Attendant, which is just an extremely cheap. You can see by the cost there, 144 Koku, only 75 men. Again, it's in loose formation. These guys are excellent meat shield units, or they can be used tactically to help capture buildings, set up ambushes, outflank, guard your general. There's a whole bunch of different things. Same thing with the Sword Attendant. They're slightly more expensive, had a little bit more attack, less defense, and less armor. What you might expect. If you come to the bows, you got this Foot Samurai, 45 men, a little bit better than Bow Samurai statistically, but of course half the number of men, but they're also cheaper than Bow Samurai. Very interesting unit indeed. Quite useful. Ninjas have been made cheaper, so have firebomb throwers. Matchlocks are now more expensive, well at least the Matchlock Ashigaru are. Matchlock Warrior Monks are capped to 1, Matchlock Samurai capped to 2, and I think Matchlock Ashigaru capped to 3 or 4, I don't remember what it is. So you can still bring quite a number of Matchlock to the battle. However, that may not be the best idea, as their accuracy upgrades have been nerfed, and also the friendly fire that you've all been wanting has been introduced. So Matchlock friendly fire is now very much a factor. If you fire into your own men, it has a huge morale effect, and you do kill a bunch of your own men, very much like it would be in real life. Very good job on that one, CA. We appreciate that. Let's move on further. If you take a look at the Mounted Samurai Hero, this is one of the DLC units as well. It's just like the Mounted Samurai, better range, better statistics, better morale, but it's fewer in number. I think it's only like 18 or 20 men. They have another cavalry unit, mine's damage right at the moment. It is the Onobushi Heroine, so these are mounted, ferocious Naginata women. They have pretty good attack and morale and decent bow stats, only 150 range though. Again, only 18 units, so that's why the cost is less. Then you got the Tetsubo Warrior Monk. These are like a giant spiky baseball bat wielding monk unit. There's only 20 of them, but again, for the price, they're not bad if you can get them around a flank. They have Warcry. Fairly interesting unit overall. So that's the DLC units. Let's get out and let's show you some battle footage since the patch. So since the patch, some of the major things that happened with statistics, and I'm not a master of the patch yet because I've gotten extremely little time to look at it, so I know nothing of the prestige system. I don't know how the campaign works. I haven't even gotten to play it yet, so I can't tell you about those things yet. But as soon as I know about them, I will. However, I do know that Hannibal Bonaparte is doing a prestige thing, so you can always go check his out. And I think Ares is posting online battles as well, so you can always check out Ares' channel. Plus, I'm sure you got people out there like Admiral Price, Fish Sandwich Patrol, Reflex, CSS. There's all these other commentators, and if I missed you, it's not because I'm trying to like count you out. It's just that there's a lot of you, so there's a lot of other commentators out there. Make sure you check them out if you want to see more videos. I will be making you as many as I can, but I'm just saying if you got that craving and you want to see others, then go check them out. So, what was I saying? Okay, yeah, these statistics. So, swords in general have been nerfed both by retainers and statistics. So, swords are now not quite, I mean, they're still probably the best in hand-to-hand combat, but, you know, some of the statistics have been changed in the game so that sometimes that's not always the case. So swords are still very good. I mean, don't let me just sit here and tell you that they're crappy, but Naginata units and spear units have been given a lot more power. So you still have the paper, rock, scissors effect that sword beats spear, spear beats cav, you know, cav beats sword, and, you know, bow just kind of mixes in all those, whatever. You still have that paper, rock, scissors effect, but it's not so drastic as it used to be. Maybe that's the best way to say it. Yeah, not so drastic. So you can see two of my ninja, or actually I have several, two ninja units coming out of hiding. One of them is called Shame for Display, just in honor of the hilarious quote that everybody's already doing. And this one's Devil Mat's Tribute. Devil Mat's the one that makes my he makes my intros and stuff. Let's get a view in on these guys. They're pretty sweet, and they have some pretty massive statistics. You can see their melee attack is 29, 18 defense, and these guys are soon to have 18 morale when I capture the melee shrine. So these guys are hidden. And one thing you need to remember is not only do matchlocks have the friendly fire, the ninjas have the friendly fire deficit too versus your own guys. So if you blow your own guys up with ninja bombs, it is muy bad. So one way you can offset that is to bring this nice cheap unit here, like these Naginata attendants. They only cost 144 koku if they rout. No one gives a crap. They're in loose formation, and they have decent armor, so they're good at soaking up arrow volleys. So I need something to pin something up for a moment so I can throw my ninja bombs. That's what the Naginata attendants are going to do. You shouldn't ever use your Naginata warrior monks, katana samurai, or Naginata samurai to block something up for your ninjas, because it's a waste of koku. It'll really demoralize them, and then possibly rout better units from your army. So you don't want to do that. I've got 2 bow samurai, 2 ninjas, 2 Naginata attendants, I think 4 to 5 Naginata samurai, I think 4 of them, and then I've got 3 Naginata warrior monks. Most of all of my units are veterans, except for these mounted samurai. Again, remember I told you these guys are quite useful as harassment units, and not bad in a melee versus swords or other soft targets for a short time. Good disruption unit. You do have to be careful of other cavalry, though. My opponent has brought several lone swords, and also several katana samurai. He was Russian, so like all of his names are in Russian. It's hard to tell what units are what, but you can see there that he's got a combination of sword and spear units. And his spear units are mostly, well, I think he's got a couple of Yari Samurai and a couple of Naginata Samurai. He's got 1 Nodachi Samurai, I believe 2 Katana Samurai, and I believe 1 Lone Sword is what he's got. And plus he's got these 2 Matchlock Ashigaru, which are Matchlock Samurai, sorry. So these guys are pretty expensive. They got decent stats, but remember the friendly fire penalty. Something you definitely have to keep in mind. My opponent is using an Avatar General, which is... I would still stick to the Leader General, but the Avatar General has been made slightly better in some respects, just because of the way that monks are better in combat now, so you could actually bring a very high morale army and not have to worry quite as much about the morale affecting your men. So the melee bodyguard is kind of back, but yeah, I mean, it's not something that's massive. So check out the harassment that my mounted samurai were up to. You can see that they took this unit from 43 to 35, and I didn't touch that lone sword unit yet, but I made off with only, I think it was, did I even take a couple of losses? Yeah, I guess I took a couple of losses from something. Probably shot my own guys. I ran away, and then I managed to lure his cavalry back towards my waiting spears. Now, one thing you never want to do is take Naginata samurai or warrior monks with cavalry. There probably aren't any units that are better at the game other than a long Yari Ashigaru, as long as they're being attacked from the front at taking down cavalry. So Naginata units are extremely effective versus cavalry. So you can see up here front, I've got my meat shield, I've got my bow samurai set up and firing. One of my ninja units is now visible, unfortunately, so my opponent does know I have ninjas. but he may not be too worried about it. A lot of people, don't worry much about ninjas. But again, I'm using a retainer that gives +3 melee attack and +3 melee defense. It is a new retainer. It is extremely potent for the ninjas. And then once I combine this with my Naginata attendants, it's going to be pretty devastating. So you can see that I've already ripped apart this Katana Samurai as it comes in with my Bow Samurai. And then soon I'm going to begin firing at his matchlock units, which he's left in the rear of his army. So here comes my Naginata attendants. They're going to come in here and be my be Patchy's meat shield. So, and then look, my ninjas are going to come up behind and start hurling their bombs. And it will, of course, demoralize my Naginata attendants, but it is going to almost immediately chain rout his army, as I also shot whistling arrows with my Bow Samurai, so I just had a massive morale effect. And plus, his own matchlocks are shooting through his men. Not a good idea, so they've also got the added morale detriment of that. So you can see that his army has absolutely horrible morale. My morale is going to be impetuous because of the shrine that he allowed me to capture. I allowed him to capture the armor and attack shrine. It doesn't really matter. Also, check this out. Check out how long my mounted samurai are holding up these sword units. I'm doing quite well. My ninja, though, just absolutely wreck this entire game. They just absolutely wreck my opponent. My two ninja units here have outstanding stats. I believe one of them is called Shame for Display, and it has some pretty good stats. And I think the Devil Mat's Tribute unit, his has even higher stats. Shame for Display right now has 29 attack, and Devil Mat's Tribute has 29 attack also. So I guess they both have huge attack. And then I'm going to start, he had these matchlock samurai back here shooting his own men in the back, which was a bad idea. And now he's going to get caught by all my Naginata units as well. Plus my Bow Samurai are firing into his matchlock unit. So look at his army, pretty much just in a full-on chain route. He does have this unit of Yari Cavalry he brought out of hiding. He's going to charge them in, but again, he hits my Naginata unit in an attempt to get to my archers. So although he's going to kill some of my archers, watch his cavalry, especially Yari Cavalry, it'll get hung up and just absolutely destroyed by a Naginata unit. So unless you charge out immediately, and even if you do, you're going to take a lot of losses. And the Naginata are so heavily armored that you really won't kill any of them on the charge. So that's why I like Naginata as one of my base units. Naginata Samurai, I should say. Some people are using a lot of monk armies. That's fine. Monks are also quite good right now, but again, remember, they're extremely vulnerable to bows. So you don't want to put too much confidence in them if your opponent's smart with his bows. And if someone has Hold Firm and a bunch of bows, they can wreck your monk army pretty bad. The Naginata Samurai do have lower morale than... yeah, look at that Yari Cav already routed. And then over here I've got his, I had his general pinned up, and now I've got his Lone Sword unit pinned up with these monks and Naginata Samurai. These Lone Swords don't stand a chance due to the morale and everything else at this moment. My monks have higher stats. My Naginata Samurai have probably equal stats, except better morale and better armor and defense. So yeah, Lone Swords are just not the threat they used to be. So Lone Swords suck now, and I really wouldn't recommend using them unless you're smart about how you do it. They are no longer the backbone of an army like players want them to be, or used to want them to be. Out here, my ninjas are still absolutely kicking butt, except for that guy who managed to get killed. But you can see his Katana Samurai here just getting wailed on by my ninjas. This ninja over here was like executing them. That one died. Awesome. My ninjas did really good in this battle, like really good. One of them even survived the whole way. Yeah, it looks like the Devil Mat unit survived. So there's my men slaughtering the remnants of the pink army, and I guess that they were not pleased to be seeing all the pink. That's going to be the end of that match. Stay tuned, and I will bring you the footage from the other match. Alright, I went ahead and made a separate video out of it, of course, but Heir of Carthage back here. Let's go through the second video that I wanted to show you. This is a much longer battle, so it'll kind of make a good standalone. So let's watch it. This was a very tactical battle, and it is on one of the new maps. I do have a huge problem with this map, though. Gary Chan, I believe, is a member of the Anzac Samurai as well, so they're a clan that you see on Shogun 2 quite a bit. He's a good player, and he brought an interesting army. It's actually a pretty decent army for taking down monk spams and stuff, but I take exception to the way he used it, and I think that's the reason why he runs into some problems. But I won't spoil the ending. It is definitely an extremely close fight. I won't tell you who wins quite yet, so you're just going to have to watch. We both make some mistakes here and there, let you see what you think along the way. So, like I said, this map it's not the terrain about this map that really pesters me. It's not my favorite terrain with all the, I mean, there's a couple of hills that players can camp on from the beginning, and that's kind of a nuisance. But, and another thing that's the biggest nuisance is this. Let me just show you. The side where the enemy player starts is really close to this morale shrine, and you can start close to the bow shrine if you start on my side, but the bow shrine, the bow dojo, the archery dojo is totally crappier than the morale shrine, because the morale shrine gives you +4 morale. There's no way that the bow dojo is going to make up with that unless you bring an entire bow army, and then unless you can manage to kill the heightened morale army before it touches you, then you're screwed because they're going to have +4 morale. The other thing I hate about this that CA might want to redress is that once you capture the morale shrine, or any dojo for that matter, you get the benefit, right? Well, if someone takes it away from you where it's no longer in your possession, you still get to keep that benefit unless they completely capture it on their own, which is complete and total bullcrap. So, this guy starts right next to the morale shrine. There's nothing that I can do to keep him from capturing it, because he's got his entire army here to back it up. So he starts with a completely unfair advantage, being able to capture the morale shrine. So I think that that's kind of dog crap on this map, and that CA should probably do something about that. But that's really one of the only major things that's bothered me so far in the patch. Now my opponent has, quite funny enough, he's got a bunch of lone swords. I think he has, like, oh, I say a bunch of them, not by old standards. I think he's got 5 lone sword units, which it made me happy to see him because lone swords are dog crap. The unit that I'm scared of actually is the Yari Ashigaru. And some of you might be saying, Air, why in the crap are you scared of Yari Ashigaru? Well, because these particular Yari Ashigaru have Hold Firm. If you're not familiar with Hold Firm, it's a 9th level upgrade that once you put it on there, it gives that unit plus 3 others around them +6 melee defense and an unbreakable morale. And it says for a short time, but it's actually for well over a minute. So it makes your army darn near unbeatable. And with this morale shrine and then the Hold Firm, his army is going to be like nigh invincible when it comes to melee stats. So I've got to do something. So let's see, I think he's got 4 of those. I think it's 5 lone swords. He's got 2 pretty darn good Yari Cav. He's got 3 Matchlock Ashigaru. I think at least 2 Bow Ashigaru, and then a 200 range, or no, just a Bow Warrior Monk. So my opponent does have the ranged advantage because he has the 3 Matchlocks and stuff. But remember, Matchlocks are quite the burden now because if they shoot your own men, you're going to get the morale penalty. Let's go take a look at the army I brought. I wanted to bring some DLC units, so I have 2 Mounted Naginata. And then I have the, I believe I have either a Mounted Samurai, yeah, I've got the Mounted Samurai and the Onabushi Heroine. So here is my angry women. They're going to try and help me out in this battle. They don't end up doing too much, unfortunately. I've got some Sword Attendants. It's one of my throwaway units. And then I've got a couple of Naginata Attendants. I've got 2 Bow Samurai. And then I've got 4 Naginata Warrior Monks and 4 Naginata Samurai making up the infantry core of my army. So I do have a component, which is my Naginata Samurai, who are very good against missile troops. I've got my meat shields. I've got a couple of good Bow Samurai. And you can see the stats on my Bow Samurai. They're pretty solid. And it's possible one of my units has, yeah, this one has the increased range. So this Wind of Pain unit here definitely is a good Bow Samurai unit. And let's see, yeah, I've got this one Naginata Attendant sneaking out towards the Morale Shrine. I'm hoping I can like try and get out here and capture it back, because I can't really pray to win this game until I do so. I take one of my Naginata, Mounted Naginata units out here. I'm going to capture the Archery Dojo just to try and get any advantage that I can. And then I'm going to keep one of my other Mounted Naginata hidden right here so that hopefully my opponent forgets about it. And then I've got my 2 Mounted Samurai, or my Mounted Samurai, my Onabushi Heroine. You can see that there's only 18 in that Onabushi unit, so very small. Quite expensive, actually, for what it does. So you need to use it smart if you bring it, which I don't really do the best with it, but whatever. So my Bow Samurai in the woods, I'm going to pull up and start unleashing onto any of his units that I can get a hold of, which I believe at this point are his Matchlock units. Yep, so I'm going to start unleashing carnage on this Matchlock unit. And a Bow Samurai can absolutely destroy a Matchlock Ashigaru in no time. My opponent really shouldn't have left these guys out. He should have moved them back into the woods because he has a ranged advantage. He really shouldn't be allowing this. Now he does go ahead and start firing at my Mounted Samurai Cav here, and he gets some flaming arrows off and like pretty much wrecks one of my units. So that was kind of too bad. I run the other one back in the woods, or at least my Onabushi Heroine or whatever they are. You can see that this Matchlock Ashigaru is already wrecked, plus I've done 9 casualties to that unit and 10 casualties to this unit. So my bow samurai are clean in house. I'm focus firing on his Matchlock units, because if I can take these Matchlock units out, remember these guys cost at least 500 Koku now, so they're a lot more expensive, and I can take out a whole lot of Koku from my opponent with minimal loss to myself, because the woods are going to be giving my bows cover. My bows are a little bit out in the open in some spots here, but they still have a pretty good deal of cover from the woods. And statistically speaking, these guys are better than, or at least as good as his non-veteran monk bow unit that he has. Again, though, I'm focus firing on the matchlocks. I just want to kill his matchlocks. He can waste all of his ammunition on my bows. He'll probably have to before he kills them. And if he has no matchlock when it's all said and done, and if he doesn't have many bows left, it's better for my bow monks. So this is going to be a long, patient missile exchange where I just completely unload on his matchlock units. Now check this out. My Naginata attendant came out trying to capture this building. Now, as long as his lone sword is here, I can't capture it, but check it out. I'm playing like Ring Around the Rosie with his lone sword. He expects me to just stand and fight and to lose, and I know I'll lose, so I just keep running this Naginata attendant around and around the shrine. And so the shrine blocks his men from really being able to catch me. Pretty darn funny, actually. So he brings those matchlocks over here, but he can shoot, he can rout those guys, whatever, it doesn't matter. They're 144 Koku unit. His lone sword unit is probably like 600 or 700 Koku, because of that. You can see it's got pretty good stats. And it has 13 morale, though, thanks to this crappy morale shrine. So look, the morale shrine is not in his possession. He still has the increased morale. That's what I'm talking about. Bad glitch. So yeah, he's having to commit a lot of units out here to try and stop my very cheap unit from trying to capture that shrine, so it's very much worth it. And check it out, he brings out another matchlock unit and just leaves them here, sitting in the open. I really don't know what my opponent was thinking. This was absolutely stupid of him. Because, I mean, I can just unleash wave after wave of arrows. And then, check it out, he allowed my hidden mounted samurai cav. I snuck up behind him, and so I just end up completely wrecking this matchlock unit. Chuck these guys out there. This mounted samurai is going to absolutely wreck those matchlocks in melee. He brings his Yari cab in, but I have a lot of spear units here. I've got sheep Naginata attendants, and I've also got Nagi monks, and all kinds of units through here that are going to be good at fighting off his cav. So this was a very, very big mistake on my opponent's part, and you're going to see him run his cav out. But, you know, the damage has been done. He definitely lost some cav units in this fight. If you look at this unit right here, it's already lost 20 men, and then this unit lost over 10 men also. So he took a lot of damage there. And my bow units remain relatively untouched. So I think he routed one of my bow units with his bow. Or no, I've still got both my bow units, and both of them are very much alive. So yeah, my opponent has not done a good job of taking out my bow units. And then check it out, my Naginata attendant's still running around out here, playing tag with his Matchlock Ashigaru. Of course, he is recapturing the shrine at this point. I am going to have to take that shrine away from him if I have any prayer of surviving this battle, just because my opponent's morale will be way too good. So yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to take that shrine. And again, 144 Koku unit distracting like a 600 or 700 Koku unit, so very much worth it. So you got to use these small units that would otherwise be crappy. And then check it out, I leave my monk unit over here exposed by accident. He does not shoot at it with arrows. My opponent's crazy. He could have gotten like 30 or 40 kills on this unit, and this is an expensive unit. So yeah, big dumb mistake on my opponent's part. He's totally using his archers the wrong way. I mean, he's been firing at some of my throwaway units. He's just really not been using them smart. So here he decides to charge in a Yari Ashigaru. Not really sure what the purpose of that was, but he is going to charge them in. I think I loose whistling arrows on him here in just a second. Yeah, there goes the whistling arrows. So I'm just going to try and, you know, beat up the morale of these guys a little bit, make them a little less effective. And then I'm going to launch some flaming arrows too. Light these guys up, teach them that if they're going to come out and try and take care of business, they best to just stick around and do it. Now I do control the archery shrine, so I could go reload my guys' ammo, except my opponent does have a cavalry advantage, so I can't really protect my archers, and it would take forever. So it wouldn't be the best move for me. So I'm just going to use my archers again to destroy all of his units that I can. Right now I'm working on the spear unit. It's one of the ones with hold firm. So as many of these guys if I can kill with my bows, it's very much worth it. I've taken 30 guys from that unit. This one's down to about half strength, and he has another one hidden right here. At this point though, my opponent does have a lot more ammo left than I do. Check it out, my Naginata attendant managed to slip past his lone swords. It's now running behind his lines, trying to attack his Matchlock Ashigaru, and he's having to focus back here. Again, 144 Koku unit distracting well over 1,000 Koku worth of units, so absolutely cracks me up. That unit might be the hero of this battle from me. So yeah, one of my units just ran out of ammunition. That's one of my bow samurai, and the other one is going to run out soon. So I'm at a disadvantage now because I've just lost my range. Let's go into regular fast forward, my bad. Show you what happens here. I go ahead and split my army in two. I bring my Naginata samurai to my left. I'm going to create a flanking force, and my Naginata warrior monks are going to hold up the center. And then all of my bow units that are out of ammo, I'm going to use them along with my throwaway sword units and Naginata attendants to create a secondary flanking force, or just a distraction force, something to keep his units busy, because my opponent still has a lot of units left. Now, qualitatively speaking, my units are better, but with that hold firm, it's going to be a real problem. So I'm going to attack by way of the Morale Shrine, because I want to take this back from my opponent. He does have this Matchlock unit out here, but it's so depleted that you can't really expect it to do much in the battle. Plus, like I said, there's going to be the morale penalties. You can see him still just launching tons of arrows into the forest towards me, but he's wasting them. He's causing very little damage. Nothing that's of any concern to me, and my Naginata unit came back from routing, and it's still sitting right here behind his army. He didn't see it. It looks like I'm going to charge into his sword unit at this point, just for kicks, and it is going to waver and rout, of course. But I do believe... Is that one shattered? Yeah, that one's shattered. So that one's gone at this point, but it kept him distracted long enough. My Naginatas are in the fight now, but again, because of the Morale Shrine, you can see my guy have poor morale. Even his lone swords have better morale than my Naginata samurai, so the Morale Shrine is extremely, extremely OP, which is why it should always be placed in the middle of the map, where people have to fight for it, and it's all equal, and it shouldn't be placed on just one side of the map. So he's used the hold firm ability. You can see that here. His morale is unbreakable, which means that even though it's in the red here, because the unit's so small, look what's happening to my units. So this is my Naginata samurai here is actually getting quite beat up just trying to take down a Yari unit. So look at the stats on that Yari unit. That's pretty sick. It's a joke. But I am using my war cry and overwhelming tactics. You can see these lone swords over here got pwned by my combined Naginata strength, and I'm going to start closing in on my opponent's flank. And then this Naginata attendant unit is guarding Patchy right now from enemy cav, but Patchy's main threat is from all these enemy bows that still have ammunition left, and eventually Patchy's going to be routed off the field. However, my opponent made a grievous mistake. He left his general wide open to a melee attack, so there was a gap in his army right here. I took advantage of it. Now he's fighting off two warrior monk units. My opponent does have other infantry around, but for some unusual reason does not reinforce his general in a timely manner. So here's his general fighting my men right now, so he is absolutely surrounded by warrior monks. And again, these are post-patch warrior monks, so these guys are pretty much beasts. And he's probably lucky to be alive. But there he goes. The enemy general has been slain. But with all the hold firm and rally and everything that he's used on his troops are not going to be routing anytime soon. Plus, the morale dojo is still affecting his men. So even though I've taken it away from him, he still has the effect of the morale dojo. He just popped another hold firm. So his men are going to stand and fight, but you'll also notice that my opponent is making some dumb micro mistakes here. Not trying to be mean to my opponent, I'm just being honest. He made this mistake here of leaving these guys sitting over here and not micromanaging his troops over here to try and surround my men. He does get a little bit of a surrounding maneuver going on with his lone swords here, but then I'm going to counter his surrounding maneuver with my own Naginata warrior monks coming from this direction. And then I even have a Naginata unit out here that I forgot about. And at this point, I realized that I can capture the Morale Shrine for myself. So I am so doing at this moment. So my Naginata attendant, again, 140-something Koku unit right here, turning the tide of the battle. So Naginata attendants for the win at this point. So you can see that the morale just got taken away from my opponent, and it is now in my favor. So choke on it. So my guys are going to now start cutting his down, and his morale is going to start faltering. And I just have and I even forgot about this one unit here. If I'd remembered that one, I could have routed them even quicker. So his hold firm was very tough. It definitely helped his units hang in the fight, but as soon as he lost that morale shrine, the writing was pretty much on the wall, because my men are so high on their morale that they're going to stand and fight. My attack statistics are better than his, so it's only a matter of time before they collapse through his men and rout all the remainder of them. So this was a very tough fight indeed. My opponent brought in what, in my opinion, is a somewhat gimmicky army, just because of the hold firm. Now, when I say gimmicky, do I mean that in a negative connotation? Well, kind of, I guess, but not really. It's actually a pretty good idea. And like I said, it would be pretty good at taking down monk core armies. Now, my army was a split between monks and Naginata samurai, so that's kind of gave me an advantage because I still had a lot of men on the field. So here's me slaughtering the remnants of his men and chasing him off the battlefield. Hope you enjoyed this battle. Hope you're getting a little bit of an understanding for the feel of post-patch play on Shogun 2. I'm still learning it myself. Eric Carthage signing off for now. I'll be bringing you more videos, and of course, keep an eye out for the results screens on these.